So the other day on Strava, I asked people for their recommendations on tyre pressures for the Gralloch UCI Gravel event this weekend. To give you some context, I'm about 63 kilograms. I'm running 40mm Continental Terra trails with liners and tubeless. So lots of you suggested that I should play around with the pressure, but recommended 25 front and 30 rear. That was the general consensus. Today, I've actually found a 1 mile, 1.6 kilometer gravel descent that has some loose stuff, some twists and turns, but it's generally just the same gradient the whole way. Planning on doing multiple runs at different tire pressures. I'm gonna record the time. I'm definitely gonna record how it feels, like grip, confidence, bounciness, to help me gauge what pressure I could be running this weekend. Let's get trialing. So obviously this is not a completely scientific bomb-proof experiment, but it's one that I think many of us should do to find our own preferences and what works for us. Now I know this descent, I've ridden it, I know it's flowing, I know I can pretty much stay off the brakes the whole way, and there's a sharp right hand corner at the bottom which is not part of the segment, but I'm still going to take that corner at like a racing line and see how the bike responds and how it feels. Whoa. Okay, the segment starts just around this corner where the trail widens to basically a gravel road, because this bit here is a footpath. So no pedaling from this point, we're just going to go and see what happens. Okay. Well, round one complete. I'm going to do another one now at the same tyre pressure. I'm going to do 2 of each. And although that one was slightly affected by some pedestrian traffic and a dog, I did pretty much stay off the brakes the whole way. There was a couple of dabs here and there, but that was more on me. Like, I didn't need to brake. I didn't need to, it was more just like a natural response. And I've got to be honest with you guys, like, I'm not a very confident off-road rider. I struggle for confidence, and that's why I try to practice and do a bit more of it. I enjoy it a lot, but you know, at a race like the Gralloch, you know, I'm pushing myself well outside my comfort zone because it's not a background I've come from. And not only that, even though I do ride, you know, gravel here and there, I'm still not confident. So it's damage limitation on descents for me. And as people said quite rightly, the descents are going to be my Achilles heel in the event compared to other people. And if anything, I just need to be safe, not puncture or get any kind of mechanicals, you know, just stay in a race for as long as possible. But my general fitness, you know, should allow me to have a good performance, even if my technical aspect might let me down a bit. The gravel itself is a bit of a mix. There's some like stones that stick out from the ground. There's some really bumpy bits. There's some, you know, loose stuff, but it never seems to be, you know, consistent. These last 2 runs, I've been with 30 in the front and 35 in the rear. Now this is the upper limit of what you guys were telling me, bearing in mind that the gravel's a lot chunkier at the Gralloch and a lot more unpredictable than this stuff. So now I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to throw 20 in the front and 25 in the rear, which will be 5 psi lower than our lowest PSI so far. See how that feels now that I've got to terms with this descent after multiple runs with 25-30 and 30-35. And then for one last hurrah, I'm going to go back to the 25-30, which is what many of you recommended, and I'm just going to send it. And I'm going to send the last section as well, where I've been freewheeling, and I'm going to see if I can get into the top 10 on the Strava leaderboard. At the minute, I think we're way down in like 90th, and we've got to gain about 30 seconds. So it would be a heroic descent if I could pull it off, but it's the target. Let's have a go. Yeah! So, because Charlie's been such a legend this morning, standing round with a pump at the top of some random gravel climb, I've bought you a raspberry shortcake.
Is it raspberry
bun.
shortcake or is it strawberries and cream?
Strawberries and cream? No.
Oh.
Is it? Yeah, see you in a bit.
I thought they were strawberries and cream.
Ooh. You can find this and many other yummy delicacies at Motley Pie and Coffee. So the results are in for my Strava KOM attempt down a gravel descent. I PR'd. It was definitely a PR by... Whoa! That was a big PR. So my fastest time before today was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Today, I did 2 minutes and 7 seconds. 35.5 kilometers an hour versus 46.2 kilometers per hour. I'm now 4th on the Strava leaderboard. 9 seconds off the KOM. And only 3 seconds off second. 2 minutes and 39 seconds for run 1 at 25 front, 30 psi rear. The second run was 2 minutes and 37 seconds. So a 5 second difference. I then put 30 psi in the front and 35 psi in the rear. And the first run of those was 2:37, followed by a 2:34. What did I do then? Oh, then I went a bit rogue and I put 20 psi in the front and 25 in the rear, and that was when my observation was that the back was way too slidey. There was too much happening in the back, and that's what it felt like. That time though was a 2 minutes 34, so still in the ballpark. But of course the final run, which was back at 25:30, was the super fast run, the one where I just sent it. But I was faster on that run, I think mainly because I actually pedalled during the bit where it levels off near the bottom. I did a 2:07. Crucially, the 25:30 felt the best. It gave me the most confidence. It didn't slide around. The front handling was good through the sharp right hand corner at the bottom, which I haven't talked about, but that was more dependent on my line choice versus how much pressure was in my tyres. Surprisingly. I seem to just get better at taking that corner through practice rather than having less pressure or more pressure. So that's it. That's our findings. Not very scientific, but good fun all the same. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below if you've ever done any tyre pressure testing yourself.